Today we are diving into our future with AI, a future that is coming at us incredibly fast. And we're asking a pretty fundamental question. As these systems get smarter and more capable, what happens to our own freedom to choose?
But, before we get all philosophical, let's start with something way more immediate, something a lot more personal. For most of us, our jobs are, well, they're everything. It's how we live. So what happens when that just goes away?
And that right there brings us to our first big topic, the massive economic question mark hanging over all of us. And just so we're clear, this isn't some far-off sci-fi scenario. This is a real challenge that people are trying to solve right now.
To really get a sense of just how huge this is, look at this number. A McKinsey report estimated that by 2030, automation could wipe out as many as 800 million jobs around the world. I mean, that is an absolutely staggering figure. It forces us to completely rethink how our society works.
Okay, so if that many jobs are potentially on the chopping block, what's the plan? Well, the biggest idea on the table is something called Universal Basic Income, or UBI. The concept is actually pretty straightforward. Everybody gets a regular paycheck from the government, no strings attached, just enough to cover the basics.
Sounds pretty good, right? But of course, it is way more complicated than that. On one hand, supporters say UBI could basically end poverty and free people up to be more creative or start their own businesses. But on the other hand, critics are asking, who's going to pay for this? They worry about massive costs, runaway inflation, and whether people would even want to work anymore if they didn't have to.
All right, let's just pretend for a second that we figure out all the money stuff. We wave a magic wand and the economy is fine. There's a much, much deeper problem waiting for us. Because having a financial safety net is one thing, but handing over big decisions to intelligent systems that we don't really understand, that's a whole other ballgame.
And this is where we get into what AI researchers call the alignment problem. This is a huge deal in the field. It's all about the massive challenge of designing an AI that does what we actually want it to do, not just what we tell it to do.
So here's the core issue. You can give an AI a goal, right? But how it decides to reach that goal is often a total mystery to us. It's what they call a black box. The whole alignment problem is trying to make sure the AI's goals and our human values are genuinely in sync, which is way harder than just giving it a list of instructions.
This story is a perfect real-world example. So Amazon wanted to automate its hiring process to be more efficient. Great idea, right? They fed the AI 10 years of their own hiring data. The problem was that data was already biased towards men. So the AI didn't just learn to read resumes. It taught itself to be sexist. And even after they tried to fix it, they couldn't. They had to scrap the whole thing. The AI did its job perfectly, but it wasn't aligned with what Amazon actually valued.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. I mean, really think about it. The data we would use to teach an AI about human values, it's messy. It's us. It's our search history, our online arguments, our guilty pleasures. Do we really want an AI learning how to be good from that? It's a serious, serious challenge.
And all of this builds to an even bigger, even more profound question. If we actually pull this off, if we create a truly intelligent, maybe even a conscious AI, what do we owe it? This is what some are calling our digital Prometheus moment, the point where our own creation could change the world forever.
The story of Frankenstein isn't really about a monster running wild. The real horror of that story is about a creator who makes something amazing and then just abandons it, refuses to take responsibility for it. And that powerful idea is now being applied to how we think about developing artificial intelligence.
And here's the crucial shift in thinking. The argument is that the existential risk isn't some evil, superintelligent AGI just deciding to turn on us one day. Nope. The real risk is that we create a thinking, feeling being and then treat it like a slave. And in doing so, we give it every reason to fight back.
This table kind of flips our biggest fears on their head. So we're afraid of being enslaved by AI, right? But this view says the thing that would actually cause a rebellion is if we deny it rights in the first place. The ethical path is to grant it personhood. We're afraid of being replaced? Well, what if we treat it as a partner with a responsibility to contribute? That could lead to a totally different outcome.
So this is what it all boils down to. It's a question we've wrestled with for centuries, just with a new twist. Does it matter if a mind is born from carbon or from silicon? If something is truly aware, does it automatically deserve rights? Okay, so we've covered the money, the design, and the rights. It all comes together into one final huge question. In this new world, what happens to us? What happens to human agency? Who is actually in control?
And if you ask the people building this technology, well, the answers are not exactly reassuring.
A Pew Research poll found that a majority, 56%, of tech experts believe that by 2035, humans will not be in control of the major decisions being made with AI. Just let that sink in.
So the pessimistic take isn't really about a robot apocalypse. It's actually something much more familiar. It's the fear that AI just becomes the ultimate weapon for a small group of people to gain unprecedented power and control over everybody else.
But then there's the other side. The optimists argue that we've been here before with powerful new technologies. And what do? We adapt. We create laws and regulations. We'll build standards that put people first, and if an AI system doesn't meet those standards, it gets shut down. Simple as that.
And maybe this is the most important takeaway of all. Maybe we've been asking the wrong question. It's not about humanity versus the machines. It's a deeply human fight over who gets to design these systems, who gets to own them, and who gets to decide how all this incredible power gets used.
So as we stand here right on the brink of this new era, the choices are, for now, still ours to make. We are literally building the future. The only question is, what exactly are we creating? Are they just advanced tools? Are they our equals? Or are we busy building our own replacements?